So first, thank you everyone for joining us today. And for the last 2 days, I hope that you have enjoyed the conference. It's our first virtual conference ever. So we're really happy with how it went, and we're really excited to have you all with us. We hope that you were able to connect with each other, connect with some of the presenters, and learn from everyone, whether it's a presenter or from each other. Remember to download the app to connect with each other. We have worked really hard on that this year, so we really hope that you guys can use it, connect, continue to connect even after these programs end. This tea tasting is supposed to be informal, it's relaxing. We understand that it has been a long couple of days, a long year. So this is very informal. Please feel free to put your camera on if you're comfortable. If you're not, no worries. Everyone comes in muted, but we will have some time throughout to chat, so you'll just have to unmute yourself. And if you're talking and still muted, we'll let you know, don't worry. But as I said, if you want to put your camera on so you can see each other, please feel free, but no pressure if you're not comfortable. We're really excited to have Angela Chester-Johnson with us today, as well as Brittany Wright. So Brittany is from Wright TCO. Brittany is a 2019 ICIC Baltimore alum, as well as a 2020 Baltimore participant. And Angela is from Plumgood, and she is a current 2020 DC participant. I really encourage everyone to connect with each other through the chat, ask questions, talk to each other. They have a couple different things we'll go through, but we're trying to keep this as a conversation. It's not a lecture or anything, so please enjoy. And with that, I will turn it over to Brittany and Angela.
Angela, would you like to go first on your own introduction, or do you want me to go?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I have to sneeze first, though. Okay, I think it passed.
No. What did you say, Brittany?
Oh, I had to sneeze.
Oh.
Get the vapors. It's gone. We're good. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening after your long day at the conference. I am Brittany Wight. I am a co-owner of Wight Tea Company. We've been in business for about 5 years in Baltimore, Maryland. And we handcraft adventurous tea blends, focusing on quality and flavor. We sell to wholesale, like cafes and restaurants and bars, but we also sell e-commerce. We do in-person events, and we also just opened our own physical location in Baltimore City. This is a family business, so it's me and my brother. We are 7 years apart. We never had anything in common before finding tea. What does a 7-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl talk about? I don't know. What does a 14-year-old boy and a 21-year-old girl talk about? I don't know. Until we found tea and we started drinking it at our parents' table, and we became friends, and that's how we bonded. And so now we have about 14 different tea blends of our own. And I think I'm going to pass on to Angela from here for her introduction, then we can come back to some other blends and things.
Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Chester-Johnson. My company is Plumgood LLC, and we sell teas, spices, blends, and sauces. We say that we like to make delicious easy. I started doing teas because I was very interested in herbs, a lot of studying of herbs and spices, a lot of it very organically, very naturally because of my profession at the time. I was working around the globe, really, but mostly in South Asia and in Africa, and just learning a lot about teas, indigenous herbs and spices in those places, and teas and drinks that we just never heard of here. And I just thought, in addition to these spices, we've got to do some teas. I was talking to Maria and Brittany a little earlier, and I said, it's really funny because my favorite tea was coffee. But as the years have gone by, I have come to appreciate tea more and want to cut back on coffee more and still want that warm, fuzzy, feeling of drinking something hot and wonderful. We sell now online pretty much wholly since March 10th. We also have wholesale customers. But right now we're just selling to 3 catering companies. We're not even selling to Aramark, which was our biggest wholesale customer right now. That's all on hold. We twice a year do a tea party called the Art of Tea, which is a lot of fun, where we talk about teas and learn about teas, and you get to make your own tea and leave. But again, this is a conversation. It's to be interactive, and we'd like to hear from you all.
I'm curious how most of you came to tea. Is it something that you're just recently interested in? Is it something that you've enjoyed with your family? Or is it just something that you found on your own? How did others come to tea?
Well,
I'm very
go.
much like
Oh,
Angela. I used to be a coffee person. I was a coffee snob. I grew up in Puerto Rico, so I was very much into coffee. But as I've gotten older, I kind of started losing the taste for coffee. Like I didn't enjoy it as much. And then I discovered chais. And
Yes.
so that sort of opened a whole new world of, the chais and the matcha teas. And, so now I'm just loving my tea. And I finished my tea before this, so I'm sorry. So now I'm drinking just water. But yeah.
yeah, I grew up in Panama and with Caribbean ancestry. And Caribbeans, they at the time were colonized by Great Britain, and so
Yep.
tea was our thing. We drink tea in the morning, we drink tea at noon, we drink tea at night. So we just love tea. All the family, you just have tea all the time. So I just love different types of tea. We grew our own tea, or sometimes we'll peel orange and dry it out and make orange tea. So I just love tea because I grew up with it.
So Nola, I have a comment and a question. My question is, when you were younger and drinking tea from the English persuasion, did you drink it with milk?
No.
You did not. Okay.
My family did. My family
yes,
drank it. I
yes.
didn't like the milk in it. No, I drank the tea without the milk. But my family drank tea with milk. Yeah.
My dad as well. My dad as well. And as for the orange, I mean, tea is boiling water with something infused, right? Rather it's leaves, berries, fruits, that type of thing. And orange is just a wonderful flavor in teas. And one of my favorite teas that we blend is the African Safari. And a key element of it is the dehydrated orange peel, actually, with the rooibos, and it just makes a really nice flavor. And I think part of the whole thing of tea is the aroma. It's aromatic. It smells so good. It smells so great. It's part of the comforting thing. It's part of the way of taking care of myself.
Yeah. My family. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to jump in because I have to leave in about 5 minutes. I want to say blessings to everybody and hope you stay safe and well during the holiday season. Take care of yourself. As an African dancer and performer of 35 years in transition now, we drink a lot of ginger and hibiscus. And I have tea, and I have been drinking teas a lot anyway, but something about the drum and the roots and history and culture and the ceremony and rituals around tea, which are still really relevant now. Tea, growing up in Gary, Indiana, was about a ritual and a gathering and telling stories. So I just wanted to kind of say that and just say blessings to everybody. It's been an incredible convention, and just wish you all well. And I'm gonna connect on your site for teas because I'd like to get some, and I'd love to know everybody else's sites. Thank you so much. Blessings.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
Thank you. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and my family is African American all the way back to, as I say, unwillingly off the boat. And so we grew up drinking black tea with carnation milk. Remember carnation?
Yes.
Come on.
Drinking tea with carnation milk.
Yes.
And so, but by the time I got to college, I got the opportunity to kind of experience other types of teas, mainly loose teas, because I was taking Qigong. And so going to get acupuncture and do all these different things, I got exposed to other types of teas, which they really didn't have in the grocery stores at that time. It was pretty much, black teas, and we, you would have to go to a specialty shop in New York or something to discover other teas. But as I got older, I started seeking out other teas, and now I drink a wide variety of teas all the time. As a matter of fact, I ground up some cinnamon and put some other spices in here. And so that's what I'm drinking right now. So I do some of my own thing, but I have infusers and all different things. And since I've been a vegan for quite a few years, I haven't done the carnation milk thing in a long time, but that was like the best sweetener. That was everything.
Adrienne, I do the same thing too with the carnation milk and black tea. But every once in a while you need to go back to it, but I do love the loose teas.
Absolutely. But I did take a look at your site, and I'll definitely be looking to purchase some teas, and I'll take a look at the Wight tea also. Is that pronounced Wight or Rich?
Wight, you got it.
Wight, the Wight tea. Okay. I'll definitely be checking that out too.
Well, great. Thanks everyone for sharing. I guess, would you be interested in hearing a little bit about our blends? Would you like to talk about how to make tea? I also brought along some comparisons of loose leaf tea to tea bags. If anybody has any questions or any direction you'd like us to go, that would be great too. Otherwise, I think maybe me and Angela can talk a little bit about the blends that we offer and some notes.
Well, sure. We do sell some whole teas, just, Ceylon green, oolong, jasmine, things like that. But most of our teas, as our spices, are blends. And they can come from any place inside of me. So when I say any place, yes, geographically, but I mean inside of me, like what makes you create a tea. And Nola, that was my answer to one of the things that I'm doing to keep myself whole during this time. Is just like, I wonder what this would taste like, trying spice blends and tea blends and that kind of thing. One of my favorite blends, we were asked to think about this, is the Moroccan morning tea. And as I was sharing earlier, I actually got close to the recipe from a guy in Sudan who was Moroccan. He was an Arab guy, but in Sudan. And now is the time of year where I would really recommend a tea like that with that type of depth and flavor. It's got lots of strong flavors. Like I heard somebody say cinnamon. It has cinnamon and it has cardamom and cloves. And, the first time I saw the tea, I thought, this looks interesting, but it is delicious. It is so very good. I create teas on just putting taste together. Sometimes we had this conversation earlier too, but I drink teas and I'm making teas for wellness, things that are purported to, make you well. So for example, I came up with like a little corny line, but I love it. I'm corny and I love it. So one of the things that I came up with was a mobility, because I'm of a particular age, as Wendy Williams likes to say, and movement, just keeping inflammation down, just things that give you some energy and some pep. Are things that I decided to blend in that tea. And then also, what are some things that might make that tea not just have a certain impact on you, but taste a certain way. So like that tea is made with nettle, green nettle, a stinging nettle, and it's a green tea, and it has turmeric and has ginger, and then it has a little mint to sort of balance it out. And so in the art of tea, that tea party that I talked about having, I always talk about either where I learned about a tea. There's a tea that I don't sell, but it's a tea, an herb that was just snatched from a tree in Senegal when I felt like I feel today, when I had like a little cold allergy thing coming on. My host walked out to a tree, snatched some leaves off, boiled them, poured the water off, boiled them again, and made me a poultice of some sort. And no, it was not a miracle, but I certainly felt better. And it was called Kinkiliba. So they're just different teas that, you know, depending on where they're from, what I think they would taste like. I mentioned that orange and that rooibos. I like red teas. I like red hibiscus or sorrel or those kinds of things. I really love them. I even like red raspberry tea. Then what tastes good with this tea? What makes it aromatic? What makes it soothing? What makes it go down better? And then what are the properties of the things that you're putting in the teas? Short story, it is alleged that tea started in India. It is debated that it started in Thailand. You know, but who knows? You know, who knows where it really started.
Tea started in China, and then the English stole it from the Chinese, and that's where they started growing it, was in India.
Well, you know, it's so interesting. I always said China. And then I promise you, about 6 months ago, I read something that said that an emperor in India was trying to make something for his wife to feel better. And then again, it was alleged that no, that was actually in Thailand where it happened. It happened in a royal court. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. I thought tea started in China. So there you go.
Well, it definitely didn't start in India, because the plant didn't exist in India until the English brought it there from China. So we know that much. So I would believe it from Thailand.
Very interesting. And what did you say about Thailand?
I would believe it more from Thailand.
You would believe it more from Thailand? Okay. Go on. As you guys, everybody talks, I'm going to pull up this blog.
Sure. So I'm going to answer some of these questions. Sorry, going back. So Kim was asking to hear about some blends, but also some concerns about using tea bags. I'm going to answer the questions before I go over my blends. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about tea bags having plastic in them. And I do my best to use, if I'm selling a tea bag, I'm selling a paper specific filter. But in general, did you know that tea bags are not the best way to brew your tea at all? Tea bags started at a World Tea Fair. Someone was handing out, I'm sorry, that's iced tea. Someone was handing out samples of their tea, and so they were giving them in sachets, and people were lazy and threw the tea bag into the cup and poured the water over it, and that's how tea bags were invented. But typically, one, the tea that you're getting in tea bags is not really great. Two, you know, the tea, to get a really good flavor, you want it to give the most surface area to your leaves touching the water. And when your tea is in a tea bag or in one of those little tea balls, it's very compact, and the water is not really moving around the tea so much as just keeping it in that tight little wet ball. So if you're going to brew your tea leaves, you should do it in something like a tea basket or in another cup and pouring it over a strainer so that it has the room to move around in the water. Another question I have here, is there a way to salvage an oversteeped cup of tea? Sometimes and sometimes not. You could always try to add a little extra water, some sugar, some cream. Otherwise, you could just try and make it again.
But yeah, you could add water to it. And listen, let me correct myself for certain. That whole little story I just told was for chai tea, not just tea in general. chai tea.
Okay,
Chai tea.
yes.
Because when I read it, I thought, wow, now that is interesting. And I said I was going to share it today, but let me share it correctly. It is not tea, it is chai tea. And in fact, the word chai comes from the word cha, which is Chinese for tea.
So if you say chai tea, you're saying tea tea.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We have some more questions here, Angela. Let's see. There was someone who asked, so oversteeped cup of tea. Someone is excited. They've ordered your Moroccan morning tea.
Oh, wonderful.
And let's see.
Yeah, can I
Someone
ask a
else?
question about that one? About the Moroccan morning
Oh,
tea? Because-
Georgie, you live in Virginia.
Yes.
Yes, you should have it today or tomorrow.
I was hoping it would come today. It hasn't come yet, but it'll probably come tomorrow. But I was surprised because when I was reading the ingredients, it almost sounds like a chai, but you add mint to it. And
Yeah.
that what makes it Moroccan. And so what is that? I can't wait to see
Well,
what.
there's a Moroccan mint. Let me hear your whole question first.
Well, no, I'm just curious as to what does the mint do to like all the other spices? It's normal, usually you see the chai, but that Moroccan sounded really interesting. So how did you come up with that?
The mint is a Moroccan thing. And then again, so let's talk about the ingredients. The cinnamon is in both, the cloves in both. The mint is in the Moroccan. Chai tea tends to have pepper. The Moroccan does not. Let's see what else. Both have cardamom.
Mm-hmm.
So they are similar teas, and it's a similar complexity, but you'll be able to taste the difference. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an ideal time if you have like a tea basket versus in a pot? How long, or does it depend on what type of tea? How long to brew?
It depends on the type of tea, and it depends on your preference, your flavor preference, so strength and bitterness preference. So if you're typically, and this does change for different types of teas, typically if you're steeping an herbal tea, you're going to be fine to steep it as long as you like with as hot a temperature of water as you like. Whereas black teas, green teas, oolongs, white teas, they're all going to be sensitive to both temperature and steep time.
And you know what? We talked about this earlier too, about the variants, and a lot of it does have to do with taste. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the type of tea. And the white teas, which are teas that haven't been, they're picked earlier usually. So I would say it's a more delicate tea.
They're also the least processed.
Yes.
You can, depending on the type of white tea, I've been able to steep one of my favorite white teas, Silver Needle, for 3 or 4 minutes at a lower temperature, and it's really a lovely flavor.
I usually use a Silver Needle and white peony. I like those two particularly.
Well, I'd love to share about a couple of my blends as well. The way we make our tea blends is by looking at flavor trends. We look at the things that people are really looking to for the year. Also in reading about what people are making food-wise to sort of inform like hot flavors, the current flavor trends. And we kind of go from there, what pairs well with this, etc. So for example, what I'm drinking this evening is our Fireside Fig. Fig has been a really hot flavor recently, and also a flavor that I've enjoyed. And so this is a honey bush tea, which is from South Africa. It's related to the rooibos plant. It has a bit of a honey note to it, and it's mixed with fig, cinnamon, and ginger. It's excellent, and it's even more excellent with a touch of maple syrup if you like to sweeten your tea. We also have other really, we also aim to be adventurous. We don't just want to have the tea that you're going to find at the grocery store. We want to have something much more exciting. So we also have made, like, for example, our blueberry basil, which is actually another herbal tea with green South African rooibos, blueberry basil, and lemon peels. It's really lovely. If you're looking for some caffeine, we have, for instance, our smoked chai, which we take a portion of these black tea leaves and we smoke them with hickory wood. So it's a little more earthy, a little more scotchy. If that's like a flavor profile that you like, it's really nice. And yeah, we've got all sorts of different fun, interesting blends. One tea that we're sold out of right now is a cinnamon walnut yaupan. Yaupan, for fun facts, is the only herb native to the continental US that is caffeinated. And we use a dark roast yaupan, which is related to the holly plant also, with walnuts and cloves and of course cinnamon. And it's really, really lovely. Those are
What's the name of it again?
That's our cinnamon walnut yaupan, and yaupan is spelled Y-A-U-P-O-N.
Okay. I wanted you, when you mentioned blueberry, the blueberry lemon tea, it reminds me, I make a blueberry lemon compote, but lemon verbena compote. But the blueberries and lemons are, yeah, it is so delicious. Blueberries and lemons are good. And you know, when you think about an iced tea, I think that would make like an amazing iced tea. I also do different blends for iced tea. So I do a strawberry rhubarb iced tea. And I just like plain old ordinary, call it down home peach tea. I love peach tea, particularly when it's iced. It's so very good.
Is that a peach black tea?
Beg pardon?
Is that a peach black tea? Or is it just peach and herbs, or is it peach with black tea, or what is the blend?
Yes, peach and black tea. Peach and black tea. Yes, yes, yes. Interestingly, we do infuse herbs in everything we do, from the hot pops to everything. But some of the teas, like the positivity, the immunity, we put thyme in it. And a lot of people don't know that thyme has probably 2 times the vitamin C of an orange. So there are some herbs that lend themselves to tea because of flavor, and some because of properties. So, you know, it just depends. But it is so much fun mixing and matching flavors.
It really is. Sometimes it takes us.
They ground their tea with there's a cinnamon tea. Did you use a pestle and a mortar, or did you put it in your coffee grinder, or how did you come up with your cinnamon tea? Someone mentioned that here. Was it the lady that left?
I think she left.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Great question, though.
Yeah.
Well, great. Does anybody have any other questions or comments or anything they'd like us to share about?
Yeah, and please feel free to take yourself off of mute if you want to ask, or you can put them in the chat and we can read them. But if you want to, take yourself off mute and do that, that's great as well.
I was wondering if, with so many different ingredients, do you grow any of the herbs or things that could grow in your area, or is it all something that you get from a tea distributor type of place?
I'm glad you asked. One of the ways that I stumbled into the farmers market is that the Sullivan Foundation was closing down, the agency, the foundation I worked for, and I just didn't want to go back inside and take any job. It had been such a wonderful job, exciting, and they closed like the end of March. I tried to figure out what I would do. I decided that I would try my hand at the farmer's market because I've been growing herbs forever and a day. And as gifts, I would just, create something, put the herbs, in a bag or a tin and give them to friends. And I had a couple of friends that encouraged me. This was the height of the food desert situation with First Lady Michelle Obama and USDA. And so, the opportunity was there. And I kept saying to myself, so, never second guess yourself. I kept saying to myself, nobody's going to buy this stuff, and people said, oh, they will. So yes, I do grow herbs. And I would say that indigenous herbs, obviously. And a lot of them are perennial, so they come back. The sage comes back. You plant it once, it comes back forever, ever and a day. The thyme comes back. You plant it once, it comes back. So I would say about 20% of the herbs that I use, I grow in a community farm. And I also teach gardening to young ladies in the inner city. And I usually use lavender. So I grow a lot of lavender. It's called, just like Lavender Affair Tea, it's called the Lavender Affair, where we teach kids, young ladies like lavender. It smells good, it's pretty, it's purple, it smells lovely. So yes, I think food security is a very important thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We can't find anybody to sell us the kilos upon kilos of dried herbs and things that we need. Also, when it comes to actual tea, as in the tea from the Camellia sinensis plant, there are some places that do grow it in America. America is not the best place to grow tea by far. So even tea that's grown here is typically not very good. You may have been to the tea plantation in North Carolina. It's just kind of crappy tea, sorry. But we do have a couple other questions, Angela. What are your top 3 teas that people buy from you? And do you recommend using sugar or honey to sweeten?
What was the first one? I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Oh, so here I can see a bunch of questions people are asking. So what are the top 3 teas that people buy from you?
Okay. Well, the Moroccan Morning is certainly one. The Heavenly Hibiscus, which is really red hibiscus tea, calendula, and it's pretty just straightforward, and ginger, I believe. And then, so it's the red hibiscus, it's the Moroccan Morning, and I would say it may be a draw right now for the immunity. A lot of people are buying the immunity, which has the elderberries, the thyme, the soursop leaves. So those are probably the top 3 right now. Consistently, the hibiscus tea, the Heavenly Hibiscus, and the Moroccan Morning are consistent top sellers. And then there was another question about honey or tea, or honey or sugar to sweeten. It's
honey
really
or
up
sugar.
to you. It's honey or sugar. Yeah, it's really up to taste. It's up to your discretion. Some people don't sweeten at all. Some use honey, some use sugar. I use honey personally.
I hate honey in my tea, so it really is up to you.
See?
Yeah, it makes me feel sick.
That's I love honey, and I love the honey straws, like the honey straws that may have a little lavender inside, or a little citrus. I even had a vanilla honey straw that I use. So I do like the honey, but I like sugar and tea as well. Definitely personal.
For sure. Okay, and then so for my top 3 teas, lavender Earl Grey, the Fireside Fig, and the Blueberry Basil are huge hits. A couple other questions have come in. So which of your teas have the highest caffeine content? Typically our black teas. Do you have anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
black teas, and the gunpowder green tea has a lot of caffeine as well.
Yeah, and then Georgie's asking about matcha, and matcha certainly has the highest caffeine content as well, and that's something that we carry. That question from Georgie, do you carry any sort of matcha, Angela?
Matcha?
Yeah.
We are not selling matcha at present, but we absolutely were, but we were selling it wholesale. So yeah.
We sell matcha. So Georgie's asking about matcha and the concern with its purity. Real quick, Georgie, can you clarify on the purity part? I do have something on that, but I want to make sure we're on the same.
Yeah, it's not really purity. It's like they say that sometimes, especially matcha coming, I can't remember if it's from China or Japan, that it might be contaminated, that it has to be, if it's not organic, it might have something in it, so that you have to be very careful where you get the matcha.
Interesting. So a couple things on that. Your matcha should only ever come from Japan. It is specifically a Japanese green tea. It's specially grown. It is, after it's plucked, it's processed and ground up into this really fine powder, and you suspend it into your water and you drink it. And that's why you get so much caffeine, and you get super high, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all of those things. When it comes to the purity, really, there's a couple parts to this. One, really fast, and I won't bore you all with me droning on about what organic is, but don't forget that organic is a Western term, and tea is naturally pest-free, and it is very, what's the word for it? It's very unlikely to get any sorts of diseases. So lots of farmers, Chinese and Japanese tea gardens, do not use pesticides in the first place. And gardens that do have the money will get that certification, but just because they don't have it doesn't mean anything. Really start looking at the price, look at the color of your matcha when you buy it, make sure what you're getting is neon green. It shouldn't be a brownish color. It should be this beautiful neon green color. And then really from there, you should feel pretty safe. If you're getting a beautiful colored matcha, then they're clearly taking care of their plants and doing it properly. Yeah. I haven't heard of Mamaki tea. I also don't watch Shark Tank, but I'm going to look into it. Thanks, Jeff. Have you heard of Mamaki tea, Angela?
Of which tea?
Mamaki tea.
No.
No, it's a Hawaiian, it's a tea out of Hawaii, so I'll look into it. Unless it's a brand, I can't really tell. I don't watch Shark Tank. It gives me anxiety.
The chat, Mamaki. I'm not familiar with it.
If I can just say, this was on an earlier part of the 3-day conference where there was a presentation by someone who makes Mamaki iced tea, and she was talking about the leaves. So I don't really mean the actual Shark Tank, but the ICIC Shark Tank. So she had made a presentation and she talked about it being an alternative to the rooibos herbal tea leaves. I just had no idea if you can make hot tea. I'm a hot tea drinker.
Cool. Yeah. I'm curious. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah, that was Shaka tea out of Hawaii for that one.
The Shaka tea, yeah.
Okay.
And then Howard, after Jeff said, what makes pu'er distinctive? It's one of his favorites, drinking it right now. When you say distinctive, Howard, do you mean like how is it made, or like what are the flavor notes that make it distinctive?
No, how is it made?
So, oh man, I have some like within walking distance, but too far to like put my headphones down to go get it. Let me see if my brother can bring me some and I will show you. Hold on one second. Please bring pu'er.
This is pu'er.
Yeah. So if you don't know what pu'er is, it is a cave-aged tea. It is a bit fermented. I kind of describe the flavor as the hippo or the giraffe house. It's like kind of musty, but it's really delicious. I really love it. It's a bit like barny, like wet barn flavored. If you're talking about weird flavor descriptions, but it is truly delicious. and it's aged for years to give it that flavor. And it's typically pressed into cakes. Go ahead. I thought I heard my name. Let's see. Any feelings on that, Howard, or any other further things you want to share about pu'er?
Yeah, no, I don't know much about you know, how it's
okay.
made, what it you know, which
Well,
Do you
no,
get
I think
your
variety it is.
it's a fermented tea, and usually served or comes from a province in China, a particular province in China, but it's old. It's fermented and old.
Thanks.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then Lynette says, do either of you carry any single origin teas, black or green, and do you find great success with retailing those, or do your blends do better? I do sell single origin teas of all types at my shop, but I don't currently sell online just because I find it to be a little overwhelming for our customers that are coming to us for our blends. And also a little expensive for packaging and printing labels. But I do sell them, and if you're interested in anything, I can typically get it for you, so never feel afraid to ask.
I do sell some as well. The blends tend to sell better, particularly online, but absolutely.
We had actually dreamed of originally being a single origin like tea company, but we quickly realized that the gateway to a larger audience, even if it's still a niche audience, is through the blends. People are a little less daunted by them. And are your teas organic, Angela?
They are.
All of them? Are they certified, or are they just
they are
organic?
not all organic teas, but most of the teas are organic, yes.
We try and be as organic as possible. But again, you heard my feelings on what organic is, so I only need one.
Yeah, but we do. And, you know, it used to be a big difference in cost, but it's not as much difference in cost now. And people tend to favor it.
I have a pu'er cake, if you can see. It's kind of dark in here, sorry, but it comes in like a little cake, and then you pour your water over it and it opens up.
Yes. I see someone has asked about chocolate tea.
Oh, I had some today.
I love chocolate mint, and it actually grows. I actually grew it a couple of years. And so I guess it's some hybrid plant that someone put together. I don't know. I don't know how mint becomes chocolate, but I mean, you can wash it off and just put it in your mouth and get the chocolate tea. I do not have a chocolate tea. What about you?
I actually use cacao shells in one of our new blends that isn't out yet. You can get it in the store. So we use cacao shells to do chocolate.
I have a chocolate hot sauce. We sell sweet hot and chocolate hot sauce, and it's yummy.
Angela, do you have something called the Burmese tea leaf salad? I've never heard of this. Someone's asking about what kind of tea is used in Burmese tea leaf salad. I've never heard of that.
I saw it on the menu.
Burma is an area, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's a country, but I don't know.
I saw it on the menu of a Burmese restaurant. I haven't tried it yet.
Interesting.
And it's the only edible tea leaf I've ever heard about. So I'm wondering what kind of tea leaf it is.
Oh, we use tea in cooking and everything. We use tea in cooking and baking and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I use a green tea salt, which is just amazing. And I also use green tea, like a green tea marinade for my salmon. And there's a lot of cooking with tea, but I don't know about just eating the tea. I'm looking for the name of this in the chat. It's just called Burmese tea.
It's tea leaf
salad. Yeah, what's made
Burmese
it
tea leaf salad. I haven't heard of it, but I will look into
Chinese
it.
tea salad. That's interesting. It's probably a salad dressing. I'm thinking maybe a dressing that's poured on the salad, or it could be the leaves.
No, it is the leaves.
Okay, so it is the leaves. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the salad is made from those leaves, or are they just sort of sprinkled in? Now you're going to make me go find
I
out.
think it's made mostly from the leaves. I don't remember what else is in it.
Very, very
But-
interesting. Very interesting.
Someone also asked, so they said they were purchasing the tea right now. Is there a discount for ICIC participants? Everyone should have, who signed up for the event, should have gotten gift cards. So it should be free with your gift card. Let's see. Also, going back to the chocolate thing, I really love the cacao shells. It's not super thick. It just has a really nice little chocolatey flavor to it that I enjoy. Let's see. I'm not sure the person's real name, but MediaLink did not get a gift card. Definitely check your, if you signed up to be here tonight, check your email or your spam looking from Marini Ponce. Is that right, Maria? Mary Ponce? Pontes?
Yes.
Ponce?
It's Pontes, yeah. I'm actually just messaging them now.
Yes.
Okay.
I see someone asked for the name of my company. It's Plum Good. You know, like it is Plum Good. Plum Good LLC.
Awesome. Anybody else? Interesting. And Georgie didn't get a gift card for white tea, but definitely got one for Plum Good. So I think it was like 2 different emails. All right.
Burmese.
Well, that's my spiel.
Yes.
Did anybody else drink any tea this evening while we were on the?
I'm the one who responded. I am on both of your websites right now. I just want to say they're amazing and they really offer a lot of information. So I would just say check them out. Thank you both for doing this. That's all.
Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome.
And I think you were supposed to get one for each tea company.
Unfortunately, we actually had a limit on those. It was depending on when you registered. Yeah, sorry, I was just typing to everyone. So I apologize that not everyone got one. Unfortunately, just one of those things, but I hope that you will still buy from Angela and Brittany.
Okay. So I don't know the logistics, but if you're on this call and did not get a certificate, you should send me an email or something, and we'll see about giving you some type of ICIC discount.
Same, but don't expect to get your tea before the holidays if you order after tomorrow, by the way.
Honestly, it has been something. That's why I was glad that the person that asked, oh, Georgie, I knew hers was gone. Like, yeah, you know, the shipping is a big thing all the times during the holidays, but this year is particularly strange, right?
Yeah, we've had ingredients out for delivery for a week.
Ingredients, containers, everything, everything. Yeah. Oh, hi, Natalie. I see that. Sure. Well, this has been good. I hope people have enjoyed it. It's been a nice chat. I think it lived up to its promise of a back and forth chat. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, so let's go get tea and get relaxed and share some for the season. It makes great gifts, right, Brittany?
Yes. Lots of people are giving tea as gifts this year.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of delays, we had these wonderful tea tins made, and they should have been here December 2nd, I think, or 3rd. Not. Yeah, and that was one of the sort of, you know, holiday bonuses we were doing for customers ordering 2 ounces or more, putting them in these lovely tins. But they're just not here right now. So hopefully tomorrow.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm happy to end the session. I know, Angela, you had to go at 6:15. If anyone wants to stay on and chat, I'm in control of the room, so I'm happy to also keep it open. I know we started a few minutes late, so happy to keep it open, but I understand it's also 6:15 and I don't want to cut into anyone's personal or family time. So, you know, really up to you guys, but I wanted to say thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Angela. It's always great to have you guys and nice to see you again. I hope everyone enjoyed the conference and everything. As always, if you have questions, concerns, please reach out to our team, and please stay connected with each other. You know, we're going to get through all of this together, and I hope that everyone has a nice holiday season.